Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Is this thing on? Oh, good.
I am so viscerally afraid of accidentally texting the chief of police. Kind of weird, that's all she wrote. You are in my thoughts and prayers in perpetuity. Now, mind you, I don't even have the chief of police's phone number, and why would I? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Monologuing. I'm Mads Mitch, and I am your host today, and always, because, well, quite frankly, this is literally my podcast, so who else is going to host it? Happy freaking Monday. It is Monday, November 3rd. Crazy. It's November. Granted, when I'm recording this, we're not even close. It's not even close to November, but it is when you're listening to this, it's very much November 3rd, and that's crazy. This past weekend was daylight savings in the US. And how is it bad this time? I can't remember. I think we lose an hour of sleep. Do we? Or do we gain an hour of sleep? Do we lose sleep in the fall or do we gain sleep? Let's check. This will give me something to either be really excited about or really, really bummed about. Do we lose an hour of sleep in November? No, we gain an hour of sleep. Yay. Okay. But we also lose the sun. The sun will be setting at 4 p.m. That sucks so bad. It sucks so bad. Oh my God, it sucks so bad, guys. Okay, but we'll power through and we'll persevere. At least we gain an extra hour of sleep. That's nice. They had to throw us a bone. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. I hope you're feeling well rested. You should be, because you gained an hour of sleep, and rejuvenated and ready to tackle whatever life might throw at you this week. And I don't think that that's asking too much of your favorite podcast host. This week's episode, we're deinfluencing each other, and I think that's a really, really beautiful thing. We're hard pressed for times like this where people are actually de-influencing people to do or consume or purchase certain things. I will say that I got less write-ins about purchases. I was really hoping for product forward, because I think that's what the world is suffering from right now, is just like overconsumption to a crazy level. But we got some good, I was gonna say recommendations, but I guess they're like anti-recommendations. Some good anti-recs. So we're going to get into those momentarily. I have been racking my brain. This is my third podcast episode I'm recording on this fateful day. And I have been racking my brain to come up with something new to say at the beginning of every single episode, because I did my big life update, the first episode I recorded this morning, but I have two things that I thought of. Okay. So yay. First and foremost, I made swamp soup for the first time. This was like a viral soup last winter. It's by the creator Wishbone Kitchen, who is great. And she had this recipe called swamp soup. And I remember seeing it last year when everyone was making it, and I saved it. But I never made it last year. I made it because when I got home from Texas a couple days ago, my whole body was rejecting everything. The amount of like dirt and dust that I had inhaled at ACL was like disturbing. And I just felt like I was also so overtired. I had not slept sorry, I just recorded the spooky, scary stories episode, and I just heard a scary sound in my house. Love that for me. But I got back and I was just feeling like so unwell and so disgusting. But then I was traveling again like a week later, or I am traveling again like less than a week from now. And so I am trying my hardest to be healthy and like clear everything out of my system, respiratory wise and sinus wise. And I wanted to make this soup because it's supposed to do that. And so I made the soup on Tuesday, and it's so good. It's one of those recipes that is weird to me. Like a lot of the ingredients, I'm like, okay. Kind of like how I felt with the green goddess salad from Baked by Melissa on TikTok that I'm obsessed with. But like that recipe also had me thinking like, okay, if you say so. Because it's just like a few things that I wouldn't think go together. But real quick, I'll give you the rundown of how I make it, because I think the way that I make it is a little bit different, because I was following someone else's version of that recipe. But basically, I I did some olive oil in a big soup pot pan. Heated up some olive oil, and then I put in like chopped half an onion. And then I added in the broth. I did half bone broth, half like chicken stock. And then I put in this like gigantic container of spinach and wilted the spinach. And then I took out the wilted spinach and put it in a blender. And in that blender, I also put a ton of green onion. I did 2 jalapenos. I honestly would have preferred it be a little bit spicier, so I probably would have done more. But I was like, it was hard to tell because you blend this concoction and then you pour it into the broth mix, so it does get diluted. So just like kind of bear that in mind when you're planning it out. But I did 2 jalapenos, some garlic, some raw ginger. What else? Oh, I did a ton of cilantro. The recipe originally calls for parsley, I believe. I am not a parsley person at all. So I did cilantro and lime juice. So it was kind of skewing like Mexican, I guess. It was like a cilantro lime number, which was actually really good. But so I did a ton of cilantro. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there was really anything else in there. And then, like I said, the wilted spinach. And then you blend that all up. So it's like a puree. It's like a pesto consistency kind of. And then you pour it back in with the broth and you give that a good stir. And then I added in I had chopped up a rotisserie chicken. So I put that in, and then I did a cup of cooked rice. And then I let it simmer for like 45 minutes on the stove to just kind of blend everything. And the rice really does make it like a lot thicker. So, you definitely want to give it some time. But I was just saying, like in one of the last episodes, I'm like losing track of everything right now as I'm saying this, but I was just saying that I wanted to make more soups, and that just happened to be like the perfect opportunity to make that soup. I think it would be really, really good if anyone has a cold, if anyone's sick, because it does have a lot of great ingredients. I mean, it's very healthy in general, which is great. Like so much fucking spinach in it. And then garlic and ginger are so good if you're fighting off a cold. And the jalapeno, if you have it spicy, definitely can help kind of like clear out your sinuses, which is really nice. So I honestly really liked it. I did put sriracha on mine. That was, I guess, one of like the serving suggestions, and I wanted mine to be a little bit spicier, so I did put some sriracha on it. So good. But you can easily find it on TikTok if you just like type in swamp soup, or if you Google Wishbone Kitchen swamp soup. It was so good. So good. Can't recommend it enough. I made a huge batch, and I'm like freezing half of it as we speak, actually, because there's no way I'm gonna get through all of that. But yeah, I'm trying to be back in my soup era, so I'm very excited for that. I also, like, the last thing that I do want to talk about, and this is like so insane because by the time you listen to this, no one is gonna give a fuck. No one even gives a fuck now, and I like get it. But I still, as I'm recording this, have not finished Love is Blind Denver. The last 2 episodes just came out yesterday as I'm recording this, and I haven't seen them yet. But I need to discuss the chicken smoothie. Yeah. If you are unfortunate enough to know what the fuck I'm talking about, no, it's so disgusting. One of the guys, he was actually one of the ones that I didn't hate, so that sucked, because why did you have to go and do the world's grossest thing? He took a frozen piece of cooked, thank God, chicken, put it in a blender, and he made a protein shake with chicken. No, everything about that is so fucking nasty. I literally can't even. It's like the grossest thing I've ever seen on the show. Hands down, the grossest thing I've ever seen on that show. Nasty, nasty, nasty. I'm like, so that's my other recommendation. Everyone make frozen chicken protein smoothies. Disgusting. Sick, twisted, and vile. I'm trying to think if I have anything as we transition into de-influencing. Do I have anything to de-influence you from? You know what I will de-influence you from? The Rhode lip balm doesn't really do anything for me. I actually do think a lot of higher end lip balm products are such a scam. I think they're such a scam. Like, I am a huge Aquaphor girl. I will say I have found one that I really like, because I think for the most part, like the big skincare brands that like try to have like some sort of lip balm, it's always a flop. It never is actually good at all. There's one that I actually do really like, and if you are familiar at all with Abby Young on TikTok, she's incredible. She makes a lot of skincare and hair care videos, but she really talks about the science behind them and like the active ingredients and things, and whether or not the ingredients in certain products will actually work. And it's super, super fascinating. And her whole mission is to like get people to like stop spending their money on like products that are so expensive and like are doing the same thing as way cheaper products, or aren't doing what you think that they're doing. And she did a review of a ton of different lip balms, and she said that one of her favorites was the Edam lip balm, EADEM. I love that one. I get it. I'm trying to think if I have one. I had one down here. I can't find it. I get just like their basic, like the clear one, because I use it as like a true lip balm, not as like I don't really put it on top of any other lip products. I use it like day to day. I use it before I go to bed. I just like to have it with me. That one I do really like, but the Rhode one's not a fan of. There's another brand that I can't think of that used to be, what's it called? The Summer Fridays ones never did it for me, but the Edam ones I do really like. And other than that, I'm an Aquaphor girly. What else can I de-influence you from? I'll get back to you. Maybe I'll spark some thoughts in my head while I go through some of these. Okay. I'm here to de-influence you from buying makeup. I'm pretty sure everyone listening to this podcast has enough makeup in their collection right now to last them 10 years, including myself, a self-work queen. I challenge everyone to use the makeup you already have until it's gone, until you buy more. You will save so much money and maybe even get creative using what you already own in a new way. Also, the markup on makeup is like 900%. They are making a killing selling us 1 ounce of colored powder in a palette for $50 that costs $1 to produce. There's a reason that every celebrity has a makeup or skincare line. The profit margins are huge. Yeah, that's definitely so true. That is actually something that I have been much better about this year, is only purchasing products when I absolutely need them when it comes to like makeup and skincare. And also someone else wrote this in, so I'll probably get to it at some point, but this is such a good point too. And I don't know who needs to hear it, but like, cause I think the thing for me is I hear about it. Like, I have the products that I use, right? Like if I were to go do my makeup right now, I know exactly what products I use. I love them. Obviously that's why I use them. But then it's like, oh, I hear about this new powder or this new foundation or this new concealer or whatever. And then I like fall for it. I'm like, okay, let's see what that's all about. And it's never as good as the products that I have. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I end up buying these products that I'm like, and why am I trying to replace something that I like? You know what I mean? Like, if I have a concealer that I like, why would I be like actively searching for like a different concealer? Like, why do we do that when we have something perfect that works perfectly well in our arsenal already? So I don't know who needs to hear it, but like, chances are you won't like it as much as you like, say, your favorite, I don't know, foundation or something like that. So just like try really hard to keep that in mind. It is hard to keep it in mind, but try your hardest. I really hate Colleen Hoover. She is not that good of a writer and does not deserve the hype that she gets. I think so many people agree with you, but the only Colleen Hoover book I ever read was It Ends With Us, and I decided I'm all set. Thank you, though. I read it because everyone was reading it and I felt I had FOMO. Although I have heard that Verity is good. I've also heard rumors, so unverified, that Colleen Hoover didn't write Verity because everyone says it's the best book and that there's no way that she wrote it. And it doesn't read the same as all of her other books. Color me intrigued. But I would maybe like to read that one because people do say that is the best one. Okay, Switzerland, hear me out. It's so fucking expensive, and yes, it's objectively gorgeous. However, a quarter of the price, you can go to probably any other neighboring country and get very similar views. I went from Switzerland to Poland, and I'd go back to Poland tomorrow before I'd go back to Switzerland ever. The prices are specifically to keep tourists out, so it's just overall an unwelcome vibe. No thanks. Interesting. I've never been to Switzerland. and I definitely will still go. Oops. Okay, this is kind of silly because I'm literally almost done with book number 3, and honestly, I intend to finish the series because I'm too deep in at this point. But I want to tell everyone that ACOTAR is really not worth it. These books are not well written, and I'm talking baseline sentence structure being so off that I'm reporting typos and sending in edits on my Kindle, hoping that someone will one day hire me as an editor. JK, I know they probably don't read those. Anyway, some books in the series are like 700 pages long, and there are so many scenes that are so mind-numbingly boring and not necessary to the plot whatsoever. And the plot payoff is not good enough for getting through all the boring rambling. If you still want to read the series, I don't blame you. I'm reading it too. I just feel like someone has to say something because it simply does not live up to the hype. It does not live up to the hype as a piece of literature by any means. Love you in the pod, and thanks so much for the Emily Henry Rex. She is a much better writer by far. Very different vibe, but still, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have heard mixed things about the quality of ACOTAR, and I definitely, I think you're not alone. I've heard from people who are like really, really obsessed with fantasy writing, and read a ton of it. I think a lot of them don't like ACOTAR. I think they prefer so many other series, over ACOTAR. So I think you are actually in good company. My main reason for like wanting to read ACOTAR is because like whatever the masses are obsessed with, like I inevitably will find myself obsessed with it too. And so that was kind of my like logic with wanting to read ACOTAR, is like, I just know. And I am no literature critic by any means. Like I read some very like cheesy books because like that's not always the point. The point isn't always like profundity and like poignantly, eloquently written literature. Sometimes it's escapism, and obviously, especially fantasy, like that is like escapism to the max, right? So I understand that like different forms of literature serve different purposes, and I totally respect that. But I do think you are in good company with your thoughts and opinions, because I remember the times that I've talked about it on the podcast about wanting to read it, I always get messages from people being like, don't read ACOTAR, read this instead. And a lot of people have very strong feelings about it, and I get it. I've never read it, but I understand. Normal People by Sally Rooney is the worst book I've ever read. I was sadly influenced to read it, and I have regretted it every day since. I've never read that either. I've also never watched the show. I've heard really good things about the show. I don't know like what I've really heard about the book, but I'll take your word for it. Hi, Maddie. Love you. Love the podcast. I don't know if you've seen The Summer I Turned Pretty, but I honestly found the show so unbearable. First off, the characters are all whack. They're all insufferable, especially the main character. The storyline was pretty boring to me. I stopped after the first season because I truly could not care less what happened to any of them. I saw that they're on a new season, and girl, it's taken this long and you're still with the wrong guy. Also, Belly is such an ugly name. I agree that like Belly is a crazy name, and it's like hard for me to get behind that. I hate the word belly in general. Listen, this is like no tea, no shade. The words belly and the words tummy are exclusively in my mind reserved for toddlers. And if you are finding yourself to not be a toddler and you've ever said the words belly and tummy and you're not speaking to a toddler, you disgust me. And I mean that. No, but I really hate, like, the word belly is like an ick for me. So the name Belly is also an ick for me. I did watch The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'd never watched the new season. I don't know why. I really truly don't know why I didn't watch it. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I know what you mean. Like it definitely wasn't ever like wowing me. Like it was never giving me the wow factor. It was never amazing. But I was just kind of like, everyone's talking about it. Like I just wanted to kind of be in the know, I guess. Oops, I just have FOMO always. But when this season came out, this newest season, I was like, yeah, this isn't really doing it for me. This is just like not, I didn't even start watching it because I just like, I couldn't get myself in the headspace of like being excited to watch it. So I was just like, no. And then I decided, oh, maybe I'll wait until all of the episodes come out, because they came out week by week, which I have my qualms about. I've decided like my preferred structure for releasing a new season of a show is either all at once. I don't care. Listen, I don't care. Like, if you're anti binge culture, like, good for you. I'm not. Like, I love having everything right there in front of me. Or if you're going to do it weekly, do multiple episodes a week. Like, split it up over the course of like 3 weeks. Do like 3 episodes, something like that. Don't give me 1 episode per week. Like, taking years off my life, like half the year's over. And now what? You know what I mean? That pisses me off. But I get it. I get it. I understand it. Low key, don't go to Paris. It's dirty and trashy and just a really bad tourist trap. I've heard mixed things about Paris, so I'm not surprised to hear that. But I also have never been, and I probably will go. At some point, actually. Labubus are fugly, and I hate them. And I truly believe that anyone who likes them should not be allowed to vote. They're just a passing fad, and I can't wait to see them in the trash. Like, people, please, you're over here screaming and cheering as you open an unnecessarily expensive and ugly keychain. Get it together. I think it's weird to have strong opinions about things that people like in general. Like this. This is weird to me. If you think they're ugly, great, don't buy it. I think, here's my thought. It's like, we're living in a time, God, eye rolls everywhere, but we're living in a time where if people find happiness in a fucking ugly keychain, like, great, do whatever you gotta fucking do. Like, we're all, listen, you know, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a lot. And I think if that's what's bringing you joy, I don't care. It literally doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I think it's like, this is something I've noticed a lot of, and also not to be, but I will. It's always things that traditionally women like, and I just like hate that. Like, why do you have such a strong visceral reaction to something that like women tend to enjoy? I don't know. Like, and I don't own a Labubu. I don't ever intend on owning a Labubu. They don't interest me at all. And that's fine. And I just like move on with my life because it literally could not affect me less. But I feel like this is the case with so many things. Like, I remember during Love Island this year, I kept seeing, there was like this one person who I follow who I love, but she kept posting about how everyone who watches Love Island, like, just like rotting their brain and like they're so dumb and like all. And I was like, okay. And first of all, no one who watches Love Island is like claiming that it's like a intellectually savvy show by any means. Like, that's never been the argument. Like, that's never been the point that's compelling about the show at all. So you're arguing a point that no one is trying to fight. But I don't know. It's just like interesting. Just like the need to like yuck someone's yum and to feel a superiority complex over things. It's like, okay, you can just say like you don't like the boo-boos. But like it's the aggression for me. I have recently stopped buying most of the supplements I was taking after they ran out, and I feel fine. Have I been bamboozled by big health that I really thought I needed all of these things to be healthy? For example, collagen powders, AG1, Bloom, electrolyte packs, liquid IV. It tastes so good, but I don't feel different without it. Multivitamins, biotin gummies for hair growth, Grunes vitamin gummies. I don't know what those are. Prebiotics, probiotics. You get the idea. I keep thinking of how much money I spent on all this stuff, and I think I genuinely convinced myself that it made a difference. Yeah. I think there's actually so many compelling studies that probably prove that you are 100% onto something. That's something that I really try to do research on when I start feeling like I'm falling for something like that. And usually within seconds, I can find a video of someone who has a degree in something scientific based, and they are just saying, nope, you don't need that. I love hearing a doctor say, no, you don't need that. And 9 times out of 10 with these products, like, you can find that. And I think it's so interesting. And I totally relate to this, and I've definitely fallen down those rabbit holes as well. And I have also tried to really be like mindful about it, because like, what difference is it making? Is it all a placebo? And it's really just just preying on this idea of like American people wanting to be healthy in a system that is set up to make it so that's not the case, which is the reality of the situation, right? Like, because they're trying to sell you collagen powders and electrolytes and all of these different greens powders and all this stuff to like cancel out eating overly processed food all the time. Like that's not going to work the way that you think it is, right? And they know that, but they want you to think that it's doing something. Also, it's so important to remember, every time I remember this, I'm like, yeah, that's tracking actually, because the wellness industry is much bigger than big pharma. Which is crazy. You would think big pharma is big. No, the wellness industry as a whole is more lucrative than big pharma. Like that should tell you something. Big fucking pharma? Are you kidding? No, the wellness industry much bigger. And a lot of it is a scam, and a lot of it is also you see all of these like big, these like fad I guess like fad problems that these companies literally invent to then sell you these things, which is crazy. Like I always think about all of the protein powders and the protein bars and the protein, and it's just like people fabricating this like specific amount of fiber that like randomly, like this random amount that they conjured up out of nowhere that like, oh, you actually need to be eating this much fiber. Said who? So that's who? Because if you check with your doctor, I bet your doctor is saying, no, you actually shouldn't be eating that much fiber. And oftentimes, it's so interesting too, because a lot of times the products that they're selling you to like become more healthy, I'm saying that in air quotes, and to get more protein is these like overly processed like junk. It's literally junk food. Like half the protein bars are literal candy bars, and the protein powders are just like sugar that you like pour in milk. Like it's not what you think it's going to be. It's not actually making you healthier. I think a lot of the times it's something to make you feel healthier that you actually enjoy consuming so that you consume it longer, right? Like if you get these protein bars that taste like candy, you're going to become obsessed with them and you're going to keep buying more of them under the guise that you're doing something healthy, but really it's like the polar opposite. It's just like, it's all very, very, very icky. And also I think I've heard so many doctors say this, and it's like so true. It's like really people need to be like focusing on the basics. Like I've said this before, like I am obsessed with fiber because it's like the macronutrient ? That we as Americans don't get nearly enough of, and everyone focuses on protein right now, but like fiber is actually so much more important. There's been like a crazy rise in colon cancer over the last few years, especially in young people, and like one of the only things that they can link to preventing colon cancer is upping your fiber intake, and literally no one does it. No one cares because like there's not products that exist that are selling you fiber right now. Like no one cares. Like I think until that's the case, people won't care about getting fiber because there's not like fiber bars. There's not like fiber shakes that you take. If you want to get your fiber, you have to like eat vegetables, and that's just like not as chic, and no one's who's able to sell you that, just like grocery stores. Like it's not as lucrative, so people don't care. But like those are the things that we should actually be focusing on. And it's so interesting because oftentimes the things that they're selling to you and pitching to is like this is what's going to solve everything for you is so not the case, and they just do a really good job at making it seem that way. I think even I always think about there's this couple who has a health and wellness podcast. I say both of those words in the loosest sense, because I don't think a lot of the things that they promote are healthy in any way, shape, or form. But they literally profit off of their audience in like a very unique way, because they do this thing where they kind of come up with this problem, and it's not real problems. It's like, oh, my hands are getting sun exposure while I'm driving. Okay, like we have bigger fish to fry in this world. And so she will like bring up something like that. That's something you obviously never think about on a daily basis, but it's something you do on a daily basis, right? Like you do drive and your hands are exposed to the sun on a daily basis. So it's like, oh no, what do I do about this? I was never aware that this is a problem. And then literally like clockwork, 2 months later, she comes up with a product to solve that alleged problem. And she's done this cycle for so long. For so long. She did it with mouth tape. She did it with fucking toilet paper. She does it with, it's tired, but it's also so blatantly transparent. I can't get over it because it follows the same cycle of like introduce this like groundbreaking problem that no one no one ever cared about until right now, because now it's like this awful thing that's like gonna kill you, right? And now it's like, what do we do about it? And then she's able to frame it in this way that seems so authentic and organic and so genuine that like, oh, I need to come up with a solution for this. But no, she's selling you a problem so that she can sell you the solution at a steep upcharge, by the way. And that's textbook. And I think that is like, that to me is so obvious. And like I said, it's so transparent. Like I don't know how it fools anyone, but I think it's very indicative of the way that industry works as a whole. I think that they're just like one tiny example of like what the industry as a whole is doing. And it's so telling. Like I think of every time I go to the doctor for like a checkup and they're like, okay, are you exercising? Like, are you sleeping well? Are you eating okay? Like, drinking water? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay. Like, and I and I know that like the US healthcare system has its own qualms, but I think for the most part it really is, it's basics, but it's not as glamorous to be like eating salads every day. So instead they're going to sell you all of these other things that make it feel like it's part of an aesthetic, if that makes sense. And yeah, I'm so on your side with this. So I completely agree. Let me de-influence you to visit Anna Maria Island in Florida. So random, but okay. I'm not sure it's on many people's list, but it's on more than enough people's to matter. It's south of Tampa and was sold to us as a remote little island with beaches that look like you're in the Caribbean, but that not a lot of people know about. Lies. Apparently it's really hyped up to others as well, because while it was family friendly, there were approximately 4 parking spots on the entire island's beaches and 1 million people on this 7-mile long island. There are multiple beaches on this island, and essentially you must walk to them unless you get lucky. Traffic is at a standstill at all times. I was just so bamboozled by how many people could fit on this island at once. Everything was a fire hazard. Stay away. You've been warned. The bug bite tool thing doesn't do shit. I've never heard of it, but again, you've been warned. The straw to get rid of hiccups also doesn't do shit. I've never heard of these things, but I'll take your word for it. I'm sorry, but a beach vacation is a beach vacation to me. I totally understand going south somewhere for warmer weather, but I don't understand flying to a whole other country just to never leave the resort/beach. I did an all-inclusive in Mexico, and I was so bored and spent so much money for something that I could have done in my home state of North Carolina for a quarter of the price and arguably nicer beaches. That's tea. And that's also shade. OMG, hi. I love the pod and the bold rebrand. Thank you. Once a prison guard, always a prison guard. Let all the girls know Aura rings. While they look pretty and so much cuter than an Apple Watch, they are not protecting your data. In fact, they made a deal with the US government recently to push out their competitors, but in doing so, the government can now access data. And in the year 2025, that's super not cool and maybe dangerous for us. Handmaid's Tale, anyone? Anyways, that's all. Protect yourself and your information. I have not validated that claim, so I don't want to say that that's like Bible, but that is really interesting. Also, I hated my Aura ring. I had an Aura ring and I returned it after a week. I hated it. I just hated it. I wanted something because I wear an Apple Watch when I work out. And most days I wear an Apple Watch all day because it's like I work out in the morning and then I keep it on because I'm just like doing random work all day. I don't really like, I don't wear it on trips really. I don't wear it if I'm going somewhere nice. I don't wear it like if I'm dressed up nice, but I wanted to have an Aura ring so that I wouldn't have to wear my Apple Watch all the time. Like I wanted to have it so I could like still be tracking my steps and like things like that without having the ring on. I mean, without having the watch on, because the watch is ugly. Like I understand. And I really feel very strongly about that. I just hated it. I hated everything about it. I don't think it worked very well. It was not it for me. And like the app and everything they were not doing it for me at all. Disney, 10K plus for 7 days in the blazing heat with complaining children. Now I went there as a 7th grader and I had the time of my life. So maybe I just think it's a mistake with toddlers. Also, I have never from a young age trusted Disney adults. I've never been to Disney, and like at this point in my life, I don't know. I don't know that I ever will. Obviously it doesn't interest me at this age. Like maybe when I have kids, if I have kids, like maybe that'll be something I'm interested in. But I don't think so actually. I don't know. But it does like it is. I understand that the concept of it. It's so much fucking money. When I was growing up, I wanted to go to Disney a lot because I had this one friend who was like huge into Disney, and like her whole family was huge into Disney, and they had a planned itinerary like down to the minute when they would go to Disney, which was like a lot, just like so much. And I remember being like, that doesn't even seem fun because it's just like, you're just like on a timetable. You're just like rushing. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just like not feeling good to me. I also do, like I said, I hate the heat. Like I hate everything. I hate crowds. So I do think in so many ways, it's just not my vibe. Do not read Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. Do, however, read every Carly Fortune book ever. I told you. Carly Fortune, yes. The Flav City protein is terrible. The influencers are lying to you. I must be following the right people because I've never heard of that protein, but you've been warned. Hi, Maddie. Love you so much. Your pod is my Monday coping mechanism. Anyway, I'm here to de-influence people against Lightlark by Alex Astor. I'm a huge reader and fantasy is one of my favorite genres, but this series in particular was one that I really struggled with. The whole book series felt like it was building up to these events for hundreds of pages, and then the events themselves were maybe a page long. The characters felt very rushed and forced to make us like who the author wanted us to. I wasn't a fan of any of the characters, and honestly, seems like the author was trying to make a character she wanted to be rather than a complex character. Not to mention the series is way too long with more books still coming out. It took me multiple months to put me in a reading slump to read the series. Not sure why everyone raves about it online, lol. Okay, good to know. I just lost my place entirely. Oh, no, I didn't. We're good. Honestly, the Netflix show Outer Banks is seriously overrated, and I couldn't even finish it. The plot feels so repetitive. People constantly dying, but not really dying. Every season just seemed to get more ridiculous. The characters were good, so it's a shame, but unfortunately, it's not enjoyable. I think I only watched the first 2 seasons of that show. I watched it when it first came out because everyone was obsessed with it and it was during COVID, so what the fuck else do we have to do? So I liked that season, and then I watched the second season, and I don't know how many seasons are out, maybe only 3 are out, but I definitely did not watch the last season. I agree, it did just get kind of like, okay. It was also like stressful. Every episode was like unnecessarily stressful, and that was like not my vibe. Watercolor painting. I've tried so hard to make those cutesy Pinterest looking paintings, and unless you're an Etsy professional, I fear it's out of our scope and therefore recommended you'd be de-influenced. That could be laziness though. No, that's valid. Not a regret, but I just read about people living minimalist lives. Sounds so peaceful. So real. Every piece of clothing purchased on Amazon is flammable and needs to go directly into the trash, but I keep ordering because all of you hoes make it look cute. It's not a free people dupe. We should call them free people dope because we look like dopey toddlers running around in these flammable striped baggy ass jumpers. Okay. Fuck you. Literally referring to it, something I wear all the time. Mine's not from Amazon. Mine is from Free People, and I love it, and I've had it for years. But I do think, to be honest, I hate a dupe to begin with. I hate dupe culture because I do think it's just like, I mean, first of all, it's oftentimes just like derived from like complete and utter lack of originality, and that is something that pisses me off. If you don't have a shirt to make, why are you making a shirt? That's not yours. That's not yours. But also, yeah, I think oftentimes dupes, what they lack in price, they make up for in shitty quality. Like they're awful quality. And I understand that not everyone is able to accommodate like higher price points. And I'm not saying that like that's necessarily the alternative, but I think in the long run, like buying nicer quality things, and I'm not saying that Free People is necessarily nicer quality, so relax, but I just think, but like you're just buying things because they look a certain way, but it is shitty quality and it won't last, and you're only buying it because you saw someone buy it and you think it's gonna, I don't know. I just think oftentimes it's never gonna live up to what you think it's gonna live up to. And I agree. This is how I feel about all the TikTok shop clothes. I'm like, it looks flammable. Like that is 100% how I feel. And you're not going to like it. It's going to be like weird quality. It's not going to feel like clothes. Half the time I feel like things that people order on Amazon, I'm like, that looks like it looks like someone printed what clothes look like onto a fabric that is not supposed to be what clothing is made of. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I feel. Hi, Mads. My biggest thing 100% is that it's okay to wear the same thing to events / not buy clothes for specific events. I've had a few black tie events I've had to go to in the last few years, and I figured if my boyfriend can wear the same suit to them, then so can I. At first it was a little scary, but I've 100% embraced it. I bought some pants that fit me super well, a gloriously cinched blazer, and all I do is rotate between a white corset top and a black matching waistcoat. It has been so freeing with no stress leading up to events, and I just do my hair different and wear slightly different jewelry each time to keep the entertainment alive. This is your sign, girls. You don't have to buy a suit, but find a signature look and claim it. It's powerful. Anyways, love you. Love the pod from Australia. Love that. I totally agree. I think also I think this is like another great ringing endorsement for purchasing. I'm de-influencing. I'm like, so this is what we should do. We should purchase. No, but this is why like investing in things that are better quality is so worth it in the end, because it's things that you'll have forever, that are basic, that you can dress up, you can dress down, you can do so much with. And I think that that's so important. I feel like I've been in the process of this right now, because I was joking that like I actually don't own real clothes. Like I feel like I don't. I feel like similar to this person, like I feel like I buy, well, not similar to this person, similar to how this person used to be. I would like buy certain things for certain trips or events and things like that. But like day to day, I feel like I just don't have like normal clothes to wear, just like regular clothes. And so I've been in the process of like finding like really good quality basics. And then it's like, I can buy like a fun hat or scarf, or, you know, wear different jewelry or wear my hair different or do my makeup different to like jazz it up and make it different. But I think having like good quality basics is like so important, and so much more worth it in the long haul than doing like a massive haul from Shein of stuff that you literally will throw away in like 6 months. Athens, Greece. It's dirty like New York City, and then there's randomly the Acropolis and historical buildings. Just gross and overrated. Hi, Mads. Now I need to put serious emphasis on this before I start. I am / was a Starbucks stan. It was the hill that I died on. I worked there as a supervisor for years. At one point, I was drinking a Starbucks drink 15 out of the 30 days in a month easy. I don't know if my frontal lobe developed or if I calculated how long I'd have to work to buy a drink that's 60% ice, but they're just not worth the hype anymore. The seasonal drinks are the same every year. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a PSL pumpkin patch girly till the day that I die, but $8 Canadian for a drink that's 9 times out of 10 not made correctly is simply not the vibe anymore. Spend $8 at a local shop, try something new. Starbucks is out. Yeah, no, I get that. I think that that's so valid. It does get very like redundant as well, and I do think local coffee shops have a better selection. Or also, like, I am just like such a big advocate of finding a good way to make a coffee at home, it does involve a lot of trial and error. So I understand why that is like, I understand that it's a daunting task. And it's also like, then you're buying, like for me personally, because I usually do like a cold brew and a fun creamer or something. And it's like, I'm trying all these different creamers to find one that I like, which is like agonizing, because you have to buy a whole thing of the creamer and you don't even know if you like it. So that it's a risky game. But I think there's nothing better than having a coffee at home that I like. And so getting to a point where that's like something that is getting you excited in the morning is such a beautiful thing. Or like, I know so many people have espresso machines that they're obsessed with, and they like make their own coffees at home and everything. That's great too. I'm like, just buy an espresso machine. They're supposed to be really cheap. But again, I think it's things like that that's like maybe a bigger investment up front, but then it's like every single day you're making your own coffee at home and you actually enjoy it. And that's a really, really beautiful thing. Okay, let me see. I'll try and do one more. Someone else said Greece. We're not going to Greece. We'll end with, okay, 2 more that I really want to discuss actually. Maddie, I know you're a Massachusetts girly, but I hated Boston. Easily my worst travel experience. I spent a week there in January 2020 for a conference. The street planning is non-existent, so driving is a nightmare. They have the same street names in different neighborhoods of the same damn city. It's so difficult to pinpoint where you're at as a non-local, and everything is incredibly expensive. Like a vodka Sprite should not be $14. Boston is not worth a trip in my opinion. Listen. no one who lives in Massachusetts would ever tell you to visit Boston in January. No one. No one. No one. Yeah, no wonder you didn't have a good time. It was January in Boston. Also, Boston's expensive. Yeah, Massachusetts is so expensive because it's a great place to live. Like I'm sorry, it is the trade-off of all trade-offs. I've made my peace with it years ago. It just like is what it is. Like, yeah. I mean, and also, I don't know. I think I'm like at a point too where I'm like traveling, everything's expensive everywhere. Like I just like, I feel like I try to just like tune it all out in an ignorant way. No, just literally just from the standpoint of like literally everything is so fucking expensive. Like there's like no winning. But so like I agree with you on the price, but I think at this point, like it's something I'm so used to that it doesn't really affect me. It's not as like jarring to my system. It's just like par for the course at this point. But I will say, don't come to Boston in January. That's insane. As for getting around, like I feel like just a GPS would be super helpful. I feel like just like turn on the GPS, because Boston, it is very unique in the sense that like it's not like a grid like New York. It's so wonky, and I get that. I'm also curious like what areas you were in, but if you are visiting Boston, come in the summer or come in the fall. The fall in Boston is beautiful. The summer in Boston is like really fun. I would never in a million years suggest anyone come to Boston to visit in the winter. That is not so. The butternut squash mac and cheese from Trader Joe's. Maybe this is a me issue, but I spit it out the first bite and threw it away. Also, the mac and cheese in the cooler area at Trader Joe's looks like Panera. It was not good. Okay. I hope this person is listening. The butternut squash mac and cheese from Trader Joe's, not good. You were so correct. And the one that you're saying is in the cooler section. I don't think I've ever tried that. However, the frozen mac and cheese from Trader Joe's that comes in it looks like a lean cuisine, but it's not. It's like it's a fat cuisine. Those mac and cheese trays, incredible. Like so good. Really, really great quality mac and cheese. I like can't recommend those enough, but yeah, I'm with you on the butternut squash mac and cheese. It doesn't taste like butternut squash at all. I don't know. It's like the seasonings that they put in it. I am also not a fan, so I relate to that. Okay, thank you so much to everyone who wrote in for this episode. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will chat with you next Monday. And that's all she wrote. Bye.